Hey there, thanks for joining me for this tutorial using Luminar Neo to retouch an image. Luminar Neo has a few tools for retouching. We're going to concentrate on the erase and clone tools today. Let's take a look at this image. We'll quickly reset it and let's open it up and edit. Couple things that we'll be using a lot is our zoom tool, so we can go in and out. If you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you can use that to scroll in or scroll out. If you don't, you want to learn Command or Control 1 to zoom in at 100% and Command or Control 0 to zoom out. First thing to do is look at an image and decide what we want to do. This part on the upper left is kind of distracting, doesn't really add to the image at all. These little spots of high contrast on the right are something that we can remove. There's a line going into her head that I'd like to remove. And then if we look at her skin, she has very nice skin, but there are some areas that we could remove as well. So the first step for me is always to pick a proper camera profile. By default, it's the Luminar one, but if we look at the different ones, I really enjoy camera standard for this image. So I'm going to select that, and right away that looks great. Exposure is pretty good, just how it is straight out of the camera. So let's close out of here, go into the tools, and look where erase and clone are. So erase is towards the top, which is nice. Clone is way at the very bottom. And it's one tool that I use quite a bit. So first thing I'm going to do is just right click on it and add it to favorites. And now it's going to be moved to the very top. Now that we have the clone and erase tools close by, the next thing is knowing what tool is going to work best. So a great tool is the erase tool for objects like this, where we can just go over and highlight them. And it's going to use more content aware to replace that. So there should be texture in those areas once we hit erase. And that did an excellent job. You can use a tool more than once, and I actually recommend that because when you go to the edits, you're going to have different layers. So here's what we did already. And if we want to go back in time, we can't really undo parts of it, but we can undo this whole section and see what it did. So we are very happy with that. Go to tools. I'm going to use erase again. And this time I'm going to work on that horizontal line. And we'll have to be careful how it looks with the hair, but we'll hit erase, and it did a really nice job. Might take that out as well, hit erase. And that's looking really good. Let's close that out just so you can see now we'll have two erases. So we have one doing the hair and one doing the texture on the wall on the right hand side. Let's go back to tools, and now let's see how even a great tool doesn't work on everything. So we'll do erase again and try to do it on this area here. And hit erase. And obviously that didn't do a great job. We could try doing it again. We could click on one spot, come down to another area and press and hold the shift key while we click again, and it will draw a straight line, and hit erase. And it's still not looking great. So I'm going to just reset that. And that's why I did multiple erases, because it only erased that one area. We still have the spots on the right side corrected and the horizontal line corrected, so it only reset that last area. So on this case, we're going to use the clone tool, because that's going to give us the best results. And we'll do softness at 100, strength at 100. The first thing you need to do when using the clone tool is set a source. So click to set the source. Then we'll just run up here. And that's looking nice, just like that. You can use the stamp tool another way as well. On the sweater, there's kind of a lump there of the fabric, and it's making her arm look a little distorted. So let's click the source again to be about here. And on this one, I'm going to make the softness a little stronger and the brush size a little smaller as well. And I'm just going to come up against the sweater. And that looks great. We can zoom in and see it looks nice. If it doesn't, we can always reset the tool and decide what we didn't like about it. In this case, I think the softness could be a little harder, so it gives it a little bit more of an edge. So we'll click the source again, and we'll come down. And that's looking nice like that. May change the opacity a bit, might soften up the brush, and just come into this area here. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key to select a new source, and just come down on that line there. And that looks awesome. We'll close out of the clone tool, then come back to erase and pick out two things that we missed the first time. And if it doesn't do exactly how you want it, just hit reset. And let's try that one more time with a smaller brush. And that looks awesome. Now that we have the background looking how we want, let's take a look at the skin. I'm using the scroll wheel, but again, you can use Command or Control 1 for 100% view. And let's look at the different options. Styles change, especially retouching styles. Now that it's 2024 and probably true for the last 5 years or more, is keeping texture in the skin. People want believability. They want to have nice skin, but they don't want to have blurred skin that doesn't look real. So we're not going to be using the skin tool for this. Instead, we're going to use those two same tools because they do a great job at retouching. The trick is knowing which of those tools to use. Clone can work, especially on smaller areas. So if we set a spot and then we retouch it and make the bracket a lot smaller, it can do a decent job. Where it's going to have trouble is on larger areas. So if we go here, it's not terrible, but it's not as good as it could be. So let's reset that tool, and instead let's use the erase tool. The erase tool is content aware, so it should keep that skin texture because it's going to sample from surrounding areas for color, brightness, and texture. And that looks really nice there. So let's go through, pick out some of these other areas. One of the tricks is using just enough of a brush area to select, so you're picking as small of an area as possible. That looks real nice. I'm using the space bar to be able to move around. Brings up the hand tool. And that looks great like that. So now we have really nice retouching. And since there's texture, it's very believable. That's looking awesome. So next thing is the darkness underneath her eyes. You could say, let's go into face, because there is a section to remove the dark circles under the eyes. but all that's doing is affecting the lower eyelashes. So I really don't like to do that. Things that do look great here is the eye whitening and eye enhancer. Those are great ones. Eyebrows can be improved as well. So I'm going to leave it like that, but I'm not going to touch the dark circles. Instead, let's go back up to our clone tool, and this time for our strength we're going to lower it down quite a bit. And we'll take a sample. And using the Alt or Option key, we'll go to this side, take a sample as well. And we can see before and after. Now that looks great. Right? Her eyelashes are not affected by what we did, but the darkness underneath her eyes is improved quite a bit. And again, softness 100, lower the strength down quite a bit, just kind of evened out that skin area, but still keeping the texture in. Let's try that over here. Perfect. Right? By doing small areas, we're keeping the retouching believable. The skin has texture. It looks real. Final thing, maybe some flyaway hairs. So let's hold down the space key, come to the top. I'm going to zoom in a little closer, and let's decide which of these hairs we'd like to get rid of. For this one, you could use either the stamp or the erase tool. I'm going to start with the erase since it is content aware. Sometimes it will save time. Let's just see how that looks. Perfect. So for the flyaway hairs, normally it's just the straight ones that bother me the most. The ones that are loopy look real, so I'm going to keep those in. And try this one more here. Okay, so I'm going to do Command Z to bring that one back and just clear it. That one didn't work as well, so in that case I would use the clone one. That way we can set our source, and we're going to use a really small brush using the bracket key. And that looks great. So awesome. We went from here to here using two tools, the clone and erase tool. Hope you got something out of today's tutorial using Luminar Neo. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below. I would appreciate it if you subscribe so you could be notified of future videos. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, keep shooting.